rather than being told how valuable you are, or, how interesting you are, how clever you are, how curious you might be. It's, you look great. You've lost weight.
It's true. Because there was an article in the Times magazine about the rise in the number of particularly young men who were incredibly anxious about the size of their penis, all wanting it to be bigger. But also the article made it very clear that this wasn't something that their female partners wanted necessarily. It was something that men were quite obsessed with, and there's a lot of vulnerability out there, isn't it? And it's certainly not confined to women.
This is nothing new. We know that pornography has for quite some time now affected teenagers and their view of sex and relationships and women and penis size. So it's a real problem at the moment, the proliferation of pornography with young people and our lack of realistic sex education. So it doesn't surprise me at all that young men are concerned about their penis size and that they want bigger willies. And in a sense, going back to Naked Attraction, that's why I champion that show and love it, because we're saying it doesn't matter, what your penis looks like. It's normal. It can be 3 centimetres or it can be 9 inches. But you're right to say that women, we don't worry about penis size, as women.
But men think we might.
Men think we're concerned about it when actually our vaginas are, 3 inches long, I think.
Gosh, it's been ages since I measured mine.
I know. Get the set square up there. We need to be talking more openly about healthy sex and relationships. But whilst you've still got quite a divisive social media going on, that's difficult. And pornography, that's difficult.
You're making a documentary about the slimming drug.
Yes.
Now, again, this is something that we've definitely talked about in the last couple of weeks on Times Radio. But what's the approach of this documentary going to be?
It's called The Truth Behind the, in inverted commas, slimming jab. So we're talking about the semaglutide drugs that are out there at the moment, brand names like Wegovy, Ozempic. You can take it in jab form, you can take it in pill form, but it is meant to be the answer to obesity. And it's been really fascinating. We're in the middle of production at the moment looking at it, and I'm very, very torn about semaglutide and where it's taking us. And in my view, perhaps the over-medicalisation of obesity. We're defined by it. Certainly as women, we're defined by it. And again, I struggle very much with this because somebody said to me recently, and I thought it was extraordinary. A trainer said to me, women would rather hear, you've lost weight than I love you. And I thought that's absolutely, there's some truth in that, isn't there?
I think that we're delighted. Some terrible truth. Yeah.
Isn't there? We're delighted when somebody says, you look well, have you lost weight? And we go, oh, yeah, and you sort of flush and you're excited, rather than being told how valuable you are or, how interesting you are, how clever you are, how curious you might be. It's, you look great, you've lost weight.
It is true.
My own menopause journey has been really difficult. And, I'm an informed, relatively articulate woman, and I know where to go for help. And I found it very difficult. But at the same time, I recognise that that's not the case for every woman, that actually the menopause should also be a joyful transition. And again, we're tending to throw a lot of light on the negative side of it.
Yeah, probably right.
However, mine's been very difficult, but I would urge women. There's plenty of information out there now, thank God.
Do you think that there is enough room and a genuine place in society for people who really just can't be bothered and aren't interested in an exciting, fulfilling sex life?
Well, now that's very interesting.
But when I was in my 20s, I was so much more interested in work, going to gigs, having a nice time, all that kind of stuff, than having a deeply fulfilling sex life. There have been times when I just have been able to walk away from having a sex life. And everybody's libido is different.
Yes.
But to non-personalise it, sometimes I think there is an enormous pressure placed on people to have an exciting, fulfilling, adventurous, whatever it is, sex life.
I've been through all of that myself, of, in my life, having shown no interest really in sex. My libido's plummeted. However, I'm now of the firm belief that actually we should be having really good sex, fulfilling sex. I think it is essential to a healthy relationship. And I am in a fairly new relationship. So maybe there's that sort of flush of, actually rediscovering sex and being excited about that. However, having worked with a lot of psychotherapists and sex therapists, I do agree with what they say, which is you have to work at your sex life. It is essential for intimacy. And I believe that it is the glue. It's the thing that binds you together. I think you have to work at it, girl.
But for people who aren't in a relationship and choosing not to have sex, I think they're probably being made to feel rather the colour's been turned down on my life, and I'm not sure that that's
I
fair
agree with you.
or
I totally
right.
agree with you. If you are single and you're single by choice, or even not by choice, but you're actually fine with not having sex and you've got a perfectly happy, fulfilled, purpose-driven life, of course, nobody should be saying you should be having fulfilling, amazing sex. I think that if you're within a relationship, it's too easy to let that physical, intimate, connective side go. I've done it. And now in a relationship where I've rediscovered it post-menopausally, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I do believe that it's something that we let go of too easily.